We are here today to talk about the book Mexican Gothic by Silvia Morena-Garcia, and then we're also going to tell you about some other Gothic novels if you really enjoy the genre of Gothic. So to start with, this book is the classic Gothic tale that has the big crumbling house on the hill. And we were fortunate, we got to see the author.
We got to see the author last month at Fountain Street Church in an amazing setting. It was an amazing conversation, but she set out to write a Gothic tale. That was something she wanted to do. She said next, she's going to write a Western.
Yes.
But it was like, so when she set out to write a Gothic tale, she went through the 10 elements of she ticked off the box of what's in a Gothic tale. So you got the crumbling house. The interesting part is the crumbling, isolated, depressing, gloomy house is set in Mexico, but it's inhabited by British people. Because when you think of normally Gothic, you think of like castles in Europe. And to this castle comes this amazingly young, vibrant, beautiful woman. And the castle doesn't really want her, doesn't welcome her. And the inhabitants of this castle, we can continue to tick off the boxes. You've got the dashing, alluring guy that's mysterious.
The woman who needs rescuing.
The woman in distress, yes. You've got supernatural things happening when we talk about like...
There's always a graveyard.
There's always a graveyard. And this house and this graveyard is actually a real place in Mexico, in a real mining town that was actually first mined by the Spanish and then it was mined by the Brits. There's a cemetery, a British cemetery in this actual place.
And they bring some of the dirt from England over to this to inhabit it, to add this supernatural piece. And they also, she uses very cleverly.
The author's amazing.
She is.
So talented.
She uses the colonialization of Mexico,
the indigenous people,
to be one of the kind of characters that's the evil overlord that's attacking the people and enslaving them and killing them. And so that's a very powerful, like it took this historical piece of it and made it into the Gothic structure.
And it fits the Gothic structure.
It absolutely
does.
Because
when you think about it, you think about like the elements of kind of horror. Because it's kind of horrific and you think about colonization, it was a horror show.
Slavery is pretty horrible.
Cultural horror show. So when you think about that, you think about, okay, this is really fits in, but she wove the message. It was so beautiful, the way she used words. When she first described the old guy of the manor, she called him a waxwork. And when she called him that, like, oh my gosh, I love that imagery because it took me right to Madame Tussauds museum. Imagining this person, waxwork, coming to life and talking to me. Like, how creepy would that be? So I love the way she used language because she used the classic Gothic structure of these kind of words and imageries where you think to yourself, oh my gosh, if this really were to happen, you would be just running for the hills.
Absolutely. And she does another thing that's really amazing. So generally in a Gothic novel, it will be a woman in distress, and then there will be an evil prince, and there will be a good prince. And the good prince is coming in to rescue her. And in this case, there's an evil prince, but the rescuer is a woman. And it is the woman in distress's cousin, who's really like her sister. So she's going in to rescue her sister. And she is this powerful, engaging, brilliant, crafty, clever character that, just outsmarts the evil.
She outsmarts the evil, but also I liked when she first got there and she thought, this place is so gloomy and spooky and I better put on a beautiful cocktail gown and add some color to this house because the mold and the mushroom is creeping down the house. The house is an evil character in this book. The house is its own evil person. And that's classic Gothic. And when we talk about Gothic in our collection, when we talk about Gothic in our collection, because we have a lot of Gothic novels, the house is a character. That's
absolutely.
That is terrifying to the people that live there. But the people that want the power, it's like their superpower, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so she really plays off of that. And we see this in quite a few other, if you like Gothic novels. We have Rebecca, we have Edgar Allan Poe.
The Haunted is another one that's a little more modern, but it takes place in an old Victorian fixer-upper. So then the house, of course, becomes the character. this one is kind of the classic English Gothic, you know, even the title of it, The Madman's Daughter. We even have a few things in graphic novels.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's just any form that you would like to read about Gothic fiction. And sometimes people call it Gothic romance.
And there's
that's
a
what Rebecca
little
calls
romance in this, but
not much, because
yeah,
I kind of didn't quite realize what was a dream, what was really happening.
Right. There is the we don't want to give away the end, so no spoilers, but there is kind of actually a man who gets rescued. Yeah. In addition, that you don't see coming until the very end. There was this sinister romance that lured the woman in distress there in the first place. There's a Gothic wedding, because of course there has to be
because there's got to be a Gothic wedding, because I mean, and so I think what I liked about this author, and I liked about seeing her, I mean, she's phenomenal, and she writes in so many genres, but what I liked that she wanted to do a new take on Gothic. And she wanted to set it in a new spot, set it in Mexico. And she wanted to tell a new scary story instead of...
And she is herself Mexican Canadian. She says Mexican by birth, Canadian by choice.
And the science that she used in it. I mean, you being a science geek.
Yes.
I mean, the science that she used in it was another great character.
Yes.
This creeping, looming, moldy... Mushrooms. I mean, the woman that... She wasn't sure she saw that. Maybe she saw that had a face of a mushroom, creepy.
Yes. And the author has a botany degree.
Yeah.
So you can tell she said, yeah, I used my botany degree to weave that in. So it was really a very powerful book. We highly recommend it if you like Gothic novels, Mexican Gothic. We also have a whole range of other Gothic
novels. If you're looking for Gothic, we got Gothic.
So come on in and get your spooky Gothic novels.